Welcome to Sharp or Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet. We are part of the Volume Podcast Network. This is the show that makes the square sharper and makes the wise guys pay attention. I am Chad Millman. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, my companion, my compadre, professional bettor, Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon.
Chad, how we doing, buddy?
Well, listen, I really want to ask how you're doing, because I was on the Eagles last night, and it was excruciating, but I know how I felt when the Bears played valiantly and didn't win. If the Bears had played terribly and given it away, I know how I would feel. So this is a safe space. Unload, my friend.
It's not a safe space. This is what the people want. They love miserable Eagles fans. I know, you sick bastards. I get it, though. I mean, we've been on these primetime games, and they're zooming in on these Eagles fans who are just dying like I am, and I get it. You should bask in our misery. We just won the Super Bowl, but just an awful experience, especially if you had money on the Eagles. They just dominated that game in every way. Just couldn't stop doing whatever they wanted, running the game, running the ball defensively. The only weakness was Jalen Hurts, who just had a total meltdown of a game, 4 picks, and like we joked, obviously. I said Jalen Hurts is the second best quarterback in the NFL. I still stand by it, but heard a lot of noise last night because he had a meltdown, terrible game. And, I still think the read on it was correct. I mean, Herbert, 12 of 26, 139 yards, and he just only could hold the ball in one hand anytime he scrambled, and they were punching at it every time. Like, the Chargers were dying to lose that game, and Hurts just couldn't help himself. So, incredible game for professionals. I was with a lot of pros who loved the Chargers. I think a lot of books went from 2.5 all the way down to 1 by kick.
Yeah.
And they were all over the under. And they needed every bit of those 4 picks to get that under and that win on the Chargers. So, that was a sharp game and just a brutal loss as an Eagles fan. So, eating it right now, and even worse, I told you, HBO right now has basically an in-season Hard Knocks, and I can't watch it because it's just been 2 weeks of hell for Eagles. We were 8-2 heading into the Hard Knocks. We are now 8-5, losing 3 straight games, and it's just it's as low as it gets. But the Cowboys are breathing down their necks, so it's gonna be really interesting in the next 4 weeks.
Why can't they block up any scheme to get Saquon Barkley any freedom on any of these interior runs?
They're out Lane Johnson for multiple weeks, and they've lost those 3 games he's been out. So talk all the time. He's very important, but, they were winning coin flip games. They lost Dallas, a coin flip game they should have won. They lost this Chargers game, a coin flip game they probably should have won. So it's like, once again, the Eagles do have a lot of problems, but they could easily be sitting here 11-3, and it's like, what are you going to bitch about? So it's football. It's these coin flip games, and they're just not hitting right now. I just need to sleep, honestly. I'm just watch that game, work through the night, and I try to focus on my work, but there isn't a minute that goes by. You're just like, why did they just throw that pass, that overtime? Like, that pick was just so egregious. It's just, I just need to move on from that game. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to yet.
Well, we went 3-2 last week in our 5 favorite picks from our Sunday morning show. You can track all those picks in the Sharp or Square contest. Hopefully you've all signed up for that. We won. I can't even remember. Who did we win with? We won with the Saints. We won with the Rams. We won with the Colts. We lost with the Jets and the Browns.
No, we won with the Jags.
I'm sorry. We won with the Jags. That's right. Against the Colts. Thanks to the thousands and thousands of you who did sign up. The launch has been a huge success. So all thanks to you for the year. 39-31 through 14 weeks on our 5 favorite picks. This is our Tuesday show. We're going to review the entire slate. We will nail down the final 5 in the Sunday morning show. We'll make those decisions after line moves, after injury updates, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We make them as late as we can so we can be part of the fun process with all of you the rest of this season. Don't forget, you can watch that show on Sharp or Square on YouTube Sunday mornings. All right, Thursday Night Football. Fading teams here. Atlanta out of the playoffs. playing for nothing at this point.
Yeah.
Who knows who's going to be the coach? Who knows who's going to be the GM? Who knows who's going to be the quarterback? They're 4-point dogs to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who ever since Baker Mayfield kind of got injured, they have not been the same team. They're 7-6, still in first place in the NFC South, but the Panthers are coming for 'em. Meanwhile, the wise guys are just clinging to the Falcons by their fingernails. This line has moved from 5.5 to 4.5 to 4 at Hard Rock. Even after getting blown out with betting the Falcons against Seattle with no Drake London. Drake London is not expected to play this week either. It doesn't make any sense to me. I know you don't want to bet the Bucs, but like this team is clearly playing one-dimensional football in Atlanta on a losing team without Drake London. Why does everyone keep betting the Falcons?
Yeah, I think it's just their models maybe keep thinking the Falcons are undervalued and underrated. And we've been talking about it. Anytime you win with Kirk, it feels you've gotten away with one this year. He just looks so bad. And taking away the number one target on this offense has just really killed their offense. So, yeah, this Bucs line, it's fishy. I honestly can't get why it's going the other way because they might be getting back Worth and Mike Evans, and that's a huge deal to this offense. So I'll take an early position here, especially now at the 4 at Hard Rock. I'll grab that on this Bucs side on the Thursday night home game. And Atlanta, last week they just got absolutely bullied in a lot of ways. And with Kirk in there, it just feels like on a short week playing that type of physical game they just had with Seattle. Couldn't ask for a worse spot for them going against this Bucs team that just had a horrible, horrible loss. So you expect Baker and the guys on this Bucs team to bounce back in a big way, especially against this poor Atlanta team like we've talked about. They're just offensively, you would think with Robinson they'll be able to take huge advantages, right, of this Bucs run defense. But you've seen it. Teams have just stacked the boxes. They're like, dude, beat us with Kirk. You're not beating us with Bijan. So I'll be on the chalk side here on the Thursday night on the Bucs.
Well, it hasn't hurt us betting chalk Thursday nights historically in these home division games. Short week, team with something to play for sure in Tampa Bay. Los Angeles Chargers, who should have lost last night. They should be 8-5. Visiting the Kansas City Chiefs, 6-7, clinging to playoff hopes. Look, that Chargers team, you almost feel bad for Justin Herbert. They're winning by guts and guile. They're winning by the other team making mistakes. They're winning on fluky plays, lucky penalties calls. That game was probably over. They were going to 4th down, deep in their own territory, with less than 2 minutes left, and Quinyon Mitchell gets called for a pass interference on a 3rd and 10. And all of a sudden after that, it gives the Chargers a little bit of life. Then Justin Herbert starts running these RPOs and running around the edge. And all of a sudden, they get back into position to tie the game. Then they win the game with Cameron Dicker. Oh, by the way, that Jake Elliott miss after the interception.
Oh, our one touchdown pass in the first half happens to be a holding call.
Holding call.
I don't even get. That's why I didn't want to go into the refs because I could just spend 5 minutes of wasted time. I can't get over how bad the refs are. It's just so
terrible. You know what? I want to get to the refs, but I want to wait until the Raiders game because I have a lot of thoughts on the internet kerfuffle going around about was this game rigged and all the people who lost money on the Raiders covering against the Broncos at 7.5 and 8.5. I got a lot of thoughts on this. We'll share them when we get to the Raiders. I have thoughts on how to fix it. We'll have a long conversation about it. Kansas City as a 3 or better favorite at home with Patrick Mahomes in the division, about 47% against the spread.
And that was when they were good.
They don't have downfield threats. They don't really have an explosive running game. Right now, Patrick Mahomes is their only offensive weapon who is reliable. They're playing without offensive tackles, and then this week another guy got hurt. So I don't want to bet on either of these teams because neither of them are very reliable. But I would lean Chargers. If someone said to me, I'm going to pick every game, I would pick the Chargers.
Interesting. Yeah, I really like the Chiefs again. Like last week, I was on them But everything we talked about, just them losing their offensive tackles, there was just didn't make sense. And we joked before the show, the pros had bet that up to 5. So every week the professionals are hitting this Chiefs side. I feel like this is the week. Everyone's just going to leave this Chiefs team for dead, aren't they? No one's going to believe in this Chiefs team now. They're just totally over. I think they're 50-1 for, or maybe it's gone up. It might be 60-1 now for them Super Bowl, which makes sense, right? They're just the path for them to make the playoffs.
16%.
Not even that. It feels in real life, it feels like it's like 5%. It's just they have to be what they were in the past, which is a team that wins close games. And this year, they're just not that team. I mean, Andy Reid, it's coaching malpractice. Like you had that Houston game. Like your defense in the second half, I think CJ was 0 for 7 at that point. You're just dominating.
I went to, honest to God, I had the Texans in that game. You and I were not on the same side in that game. I had the Texans. I went to bed at halftime. I'm like, after that first drive, like Chris Jones started to dominate. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not wasting my time on this.
Yeah, it was just, it lined up and then just, Andy Reid following Mahomes, letting him go for that play, and just all very bizarre. And that totally flipped the game, right? They get a touchdown, I think, CJ, on that exact turnover on downs. And, props to Houston. But this Chiefs team, we've had to hit a point where they're going to start coming back with value on the other side. I mean, this is just insane how many weeks in a row they've let down. So I feel like matchup-wise, this is a great matchup for them. You have Herbert outdoors, and once again, 10 degrees. Like, we're in a deep cold. A lot of these games we're about to talk about today, they're all going to be a freezing temperature. It doesn't matter if they're 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Anywhere from New Jersey to Kansas City, it's all going to be like 10 degrees this upcoming weekend. So Herbert outside one-handed, I feel like, okay, they got away with it indoors in that environment. He was horrible. I gave you the stats. He was horrible passing. Terrible. 1 pick, 2 fumbles. He lost one of the fumbles. Like, he just was bad overall in the game, but he got away with it because, he's a great athlete with his legs, and the Eagles gave it to him. So this has to be a spot you back the Chiefs, and they cover and win. Like, if they don't win this game 20-3, just absolutely dominate with Spags' defense, I wouldn't be shocked because they've been so bad this year. But the Chiefs feels like they've had everything going wrong these last couple of weeks. It's going to turn around for them. They're just, like you said, as bad as they've looked, it's not really on Mahomes. He's played pretty well. He's just trying to survive how bad this offense is right now. So I think they bounce back here. But I get it. You're like everyone else. It's hard to be confident in this Chiefs team. They've just been awful these last 5 weeks.
They just can't seem to get the ball down the field. Like, any of the magic they had. Forget about any refs issues. Forget about sort of the close game issues or the regression to the mean on what happened last year. They're just offensively challenged. They don't have the weapons. And so their offense is limited to just whatever Mahomes can do in the shortest amount of time possible because he has no protection. And so they can't get the ball downfield. And even when they can, the receivers aren't that great. So
they got a little bit of the drops right now. Like, that game, he was getting the guys the balls. They were just dropping it. Like Kelsey, people are killing the guy because he's having these horrible drops. And I get it, but it's like, what do you want Mahomes to do? He always goes to Kelsey on 3rd downs.
Right.
So he's going to live and die with it. Like, that pick, that's totally on Kelsey. He knows that. And, people are killing Kelsey right now. And, the whole – I mean, I don't know where you're at with it, but I agree. Gronk is probably the better athlete. But as a tight end, I think Kelsey's had the longer career. They're the same age. Gronk has been retired for like 5 years. So as much as you want to kill Kelsey, he's an old man. He's still doing it. He's obviously lost a step here. But that pick, I don't know if that's on age. That's just a fluke play. But, yeah, it's – once again, the vibes could not be like the Eagles. It could not be low for this Chiefs team. Is this not rock bottom? Like, if this rock bottom to me.
It could be. There's always those games that are the buy low, sell high, right? And we've got a couple of them on the slate today. The Chargers coming off that win the way they did, and the Chiefs coming off the loss the way they did.
Overtime too for the Chargers
could easily be a buy low, sell high. So, all right, maybe you're turning my head.
I'll get you because there's a lot of cold weather games where it's like that's going to be an absolute. You have a one-handed QB in 10-degree weather. That is
who could barely play in like basically indoors.
Yeah,
in a controlled environment.
Couldn't grip the ball. It's crazy.
The New York Jets visiting the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are 11.5-point favorites, Simon. The Jaguars are. in case there's any confusion about who would be the favorites in this game. The AFC South leading Jacksonville Jaguars. Interestingly, the line has moved from 12.5 to 11.5. As you can imagine, in a game between the trash team that just broke our hearts and the division leading team that also just helped us win, I spent yesterday digging into the weeds, desperately looking for ways to bet the trash team. I'm surprised the number has moved in their direction already, because I really couldn't get behind anything until I had a better understanding of who the quarterback was going to be. Tyrod Taylor left the game against the Dolphins with a groin injury. Justin Fields was already out of the game and not on the roster that day, or not in uniform that day because of an injured knee. That meant Brady Cook, undrafted free agent from Missouri, who came in, fumbled his first snap, threw a pick in the red zone at the end of the first half. He's the only guy we know for sure can play quarterback. I'm not inclined to bet against the Jags if I don't know who the Jets quarterback is going to be.
Yeah, right. That's the tough part here. I wanted to be on the Jets like you, but if we have to make a pick today in your pick pools, and you can't get to our Thursday show, and I'm stuck here and I got to make a pick here this week as well today, I'm going to end up taking the Jaguars just in case it is the backup to Taylor. But if it's Fields, this is actually, I know we're all out on Fields, but this is technically a good number, right, to be all on Fields against this Jaguars team. That's just a ton of points to cover for a Jaguars team that we've talked about. They have lived up to it. They've been a really good team this year, but they usually play well against good teams and kind of falter against bad teams, right? That's always been their MO. So tricky line. I'm like I said, if I have to take it right now, I'll take the Jaguars, but I could see talking myself into this Jets team come Sunday, but just for a few pennies, I just have no faith in that side.
The real difference for the Jags has been Jacoby Myers. Like I know it sounds crazy to say that, but he's just completely changed that offense. He's exactly the kind of receiver that Liam Cohn needs to make everything else work. He makes Trevor Lawrence comfortable throwing in the middle of the field. He puts Brian Thomas Jr. on the outside so he can just go deep and not have to be the guy with alligator arms running through the middle of the field. It's just been a sort of magic little wand that has changed the game for the Jaguars and made them a more interesting team. I love that this week, I know you've done a lot of work over the last 24, 36 hours. Everyone keeps talking about how this might have been Trevor Lawrence's best game with Liam Cohn. And I keep looking at it, and he was great. He had some great throws and did everything he was supposed to do.
I think just because of the weather, I give him that. That could be true because of the elements too.
I was going to say, he still only completed about 55% of his passes.
Right, yeah. So, and, we've talked a lot about this Jags team, and, they, as much props you want to give to Myers, it's why, once again, we hated the Travis Hunter pick. Like, you can find guys like him. You can't find, a guy like Mason Graham, who's just been an absolute animal for Cleveland. Yeah. Like, that's why you take those exact guys. I know Abdul Carter has not lived up to the hype, right? For the Giants, he's been really disappointing this year, and we've heard about what happened with him off field and all that nonsense about him getting benched. But Travis Hunter at that pick, it just will never make sense. And this GM, as much as props people are going to give him for this season, it's not like he put this team together, really, right? Did he go get the coach, or did the owner go throw a bag at the guy? So Liam Cohen, we always talk about how big of a difference coaches make. You're living it with the Bears right now. There was a reason that the Bucs offered him an insane amount of money to stay at the OC, and they were so bitter when he left. So it's crazy what this man has done, turning around this Jaguars team. And yeah, like we said, old Jags, they always lose this game. Maybe this is the new era. So I'm gonna put my money behind them just in case it's a rookie on the road here for this Jets team at quarterback.
Duval. Buffalo at New England. New England is a 1-point underdog on the road, or at home right now. Winners of 10 straight. Look, all the conversations are that this is a fraudulent winning streak. They've only beaten 3 winning teams in this 10-game streak. Not their problem. You got to beat who's in front of you, right? Yeah. Like, they can't help it what the schedule is. Good for them that they went out and hired Mike Vrabel. We just talked about how important the coaches are. They went out and got the best coach available. especially the best coach available for their roster, with a quarterback who is developing into his second year. He is one of the reasons why Drake Maye has turned into the MVP candidate along with Matthew Stafford. So what's interesting in this game is that the money, or the tickets at least, are moving this from 1.5 to 1. I kind of want to be on the Bills, but I want to see where the money is going, and I want to see where this ends up before I rush into it. Because if I can get the Bills as an underdog or get this game at pick, what am I rushing for?
Yeah, fun game that could flip. And we talk all the time, especially during the summer, about how much smarter the general public has been overall coming into seasons where people can spot now these teams miles away and everyone can agree on it. Like we did with the Patriots, right? I feel like everyone talked about it for 4 or 5 months, how they had an easy schedule. You expect Drake Maye to take that next step, but no one foresaw this, them being a legit number 1 seed. And that's what's so interesting here, Chad, is I've talked to some pros, and they are on this Patriots side. They really like this Patriots side. And, for early money here, I know some guys who have taken positions on the 1.5. Most I've talked to, they've taken the 7.5, right? They've just put it into teasers. Like this to me is why this number could come down to a pick, which we have not had this season, right? I feel like we've not had a game finish on a pick. It's always the +1, +1.5.
Yeah, or half even.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where this line goes. I like I said, I want to be on the Bills. I'm trying to be patient to see if it does flip, but I can just take a position on them as a dog here because I think the public might come in and join them, the professionals on the Patriots. I just, as much as crap we want to give this Patriots team, how easy of schedule they've had, this Bills team has not done anything to make you super confident about them other than the fact that they have Josh Allen. Like that's where it starts and ends for me in this game, where I really, when I broke it down and looked more into it, it's like this is actually a pretty good matchup for this Patriots team. Like I could see how these professionals are taking a position because it's like they're able to throw the blinders on here with Josh Allen. I can't do that. The fact that Josh already lost to them this year, you're in a spot now where I've been talking about this cold. It is coming, people. There is going to be a deep freeze, and this is another game up in New England. It's going to be cold, cold, cold. So that means it's going to be a ton of Josh Allen running the ball and a ton of Cook, which on the flip side, they have their own, little version of Josh Allen with Maye who can run the ball. I just don't think they're going to play that way offensively. I think they're still going to try to be pushing the ball downfield. So really, really interesting to see what McDaniels does with Maye here and then Justin he'll make in this game because it could be cold, could be really windy and freezing and a little bit of snow. And I just, once again, lines up for Josh Allen, who's played in these exact spots a lot, and he tends to thrive in it. So I love this game. This is one of my favorite games this week because it's so split between professionals, and I'm interested to see what the public does with it because right now, like you said, the tickets, the money, it's so even. We've not really seen the public tickets stand here, and I'm hoping they come on the Patriots side. So maybe we get the Buffalo Bills as a dog here.
Yeah, the Patriots have had some offensive line issues as of late.
Yeah.
That could be an issue, especially when you're trying to run the ball with a new offensive line. They've only had one game together, really, before the bye. So there are some challenges. They are imperfect. So are the Bills. We know that. But what the Bills have done the past couple of years is just completely transform their offense into a running offense. And it's stuff that the Chiefs haven't done. And so the Bills are built to survive in cold weather where it's going to come down to Josh Allen and what he can do with his legs and how they can run the ball. Everyone should remember to get their faucets, just a little trickle so your pipes don't freeze. It's really important because I've had my pipes freeze and it's been ugly here in the Northeast.
And I just, people. Once again, I can't get over this if you're a Patriots fan where the pros believe in your team, which I am truly shocked by. I really thought this was going to be a 2.5, 3 number on this Bills team, and they've totally come in and backed their team early here. So, if this was my team, I'd be very excited because, you're 11-2 here and you win this, it's over, right? They've locked up the division in this game. So it's really interesting, as we said here on Tuesday, the fact that the early money has been the Patriots. But I'm dug in. I believe Josh Allen, Bills, he ain't dead yet. I think he's going to give him one last fight here.
For the record, as of right now, it's supposed to be low 30s, but it could be 15. But right now, 6 days out, whatever it is, the temperature at game time is supposed to be very low 30s.
Yeah. I got a weather guy. He claims he's pretty good. He claims there's going to be a big freeze coming. So it's going to be really cold on the East Coast for a lot of these games.
Well, Sunday's not my dog walking day because I'm so busy working. So I'm going to get out of that one. Arizona at Houston. Houston is a 9.5-point favorite. Simon, the only time the Cardinals have been blown out this year has been when they played teams in the NFC West. Literally every other game has been 4 points or less. And arguably, the game against the Rams last week was the low point. It was at home for the Cardinals. Unlike their game against the Niners, unlike their game against the Seahawks, they could not blame turnovers and flukes in the first 15 minutes of the game that put them behind the 8 ball for their loss. They just got dominated and decimated at every turn. They were just terrible to the point where the Rams had their backups in, with a quarter left. This thing started moving on Sunday night from 7.5 to 9.5 with the majority of the books, the tickets on Houston right now. Makes sense. They could get some players back. Marvin Harrison Jr. could come back. Trey Benson, their running back, who's been out since week 4, could come back. They could get some help back on the offensive line. The Cardinals, am I crazy to say this is a buy low, sell high on the Cardinals?
No, but this is the exact game we get in trouble with because obviously when I first saw it, I loved it as well too. It's like Arizona, this is the exact type of games they backdoor and stay in it where the Houston, they're not a juggernaut of an offense. Like they're not comparable to these other offenses that have rolled and blown out this Arizona team. So I'm with you. It's my biggest issue is like, can we see the scenario where we get burned here? Because it's obviously a really bad Arizona team that is horrible defensively, and they could be burned here by Marks and CJ and all the things that we think Houston could do offensively, of course. But I think it's a nice spot. We have a Houston team that just slayed the demon, the Chiefs. Like this is, if you read anything leading up to that game, Houston basically had circled this one all year because of that playoff loss. And they were just so fired up about that game. And like we said, it doesn't really feel like they won that game. It feels like they got it. They did, but I feel like a little bit of gifted to them. They stole that game in many ways. And this is being priced into it. Like you said, this number's moved 2 points. Their books are bracing for a ton of teasers, all of it coming on this Texans team. So right now, one book, one of the more public books, has already hit 10. So that's why, like, people, I think you might be able to be patient here.
Yeah.
I think you might be able to get to the 10s here on Cardinals. And at that number, I got no issue taking this Cardinals team. So I'm already dreading it. I already can see our future come Sunday, 10.5 in contest. Can't avoid that because we've just seen it. Jacoby Brissett, his offense, even against good defense, he tends to move the ball. And when, he's playing dead for 2 or 3 quarters, he does eventually come to life for 2 or 3 drives and moves the ball. So it's a tough bet, Chad, where it's like I can't avoid it. I knew I was going to like it as soon as I saw it. And the fact that it's moved so much, once it hits that 10 number like it is right now, as soon as we get off this call, I'm going to go hammer that number.
Yeah, we kind of have to. Like I said, there's a couple buy low, sell high spots and we've won with these this season. Like, it's not like, even though favorites keep winning at big numbers, it's not like we haven't found the threaded the needle on these. We just did it with New Orleans against the Bucs. Obviously not the same situation, but no. The big numbers do cover. The Panthers just covered against the Rams at 10.5. We just saw the Raiders cover at 8.5 against the Broncos. Fluky things happen. Big numbers are just hard to cover. It's just, like at the end of the game, we've seen it so many times with the Titans, betting against the Titans. Like when you have a decent quarterback and you've got some momentum on offense at the end of the game and the team is just playing a shell defense, they don't have to worry about losing the game. That's where bad things happen for favorites.
Let's go.
We're aligned. All right, let's take a quick break. Listen to some words about our Hard Rock Bet sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. The holidays are here and the sports schedule is packed tighter than Santa's gift bag. Week 15 football, bowl games, NBA, college, hoops, hockey, the whole sports sleigh is loaded. And on Hard Rock Bet, there's always something to unwrap and bet on. New customers can sign up and bet $5 on any game. If it wins, you'll find $150 in bonus bets on top of your winnings, stuffed in your stocking. Now that's holiday magic. Not sure what to place your first bet on? Hard Rock Bet just launched a brand new For You page, making it easier to find all your favorite teams, players, and leagues all in one place. The Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app is the only legal sportsbook anytime you're in the beautiful state of Florida, and it's also live in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, Colorado, and Michigan. Coming soon to more states too. Plus, Hard Rock Bet offers new promos daily, so whenever you're listening, just open the app and check out what you've got any day of the week. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit. What are we doing about the Baltimore Ravens visiting the Cincinnati Bengals as 2-point favorites? The line is already moving in the Bengals' direction. It was 2.5. What will Joe Burrow do against the secondary for the second time this season? Don't forget, they played, 2.5 weeks ago, and Burrow was awesome, outscoring the Ravens 20-7 in the second half. The Bengals should have won against the Bills last week. The Ravens are reeling. If they have any pride, this is a get-right spot. But this defense is tragic. And you talk about where it seems like players are starting to fade. Like Mark Andrews has been non-existent as a weapon for the Ravens, and they're really struggling on the outside. And Lamar Jackson, who's played more games than any quarterback ever, it seems like, the past 6 years at least, is banged up nonstop. How do you bet on the Ravens here?
Yeah, I don't know what to do with it. My model likes it for the Bengals. It basically has this game at a pick. So it's like they're pretty much powered the exact same team now that Joe Burrow is back. That's how I should say how bad the Ravens are and how much better the Bengals are than I guess we perceive. But I wanted to be on the Ravens. I feel like this is the exact time to bet the Ravens. So we can talk, I guess, about it again on Thursday, because we sit here right now. I don't know what to do with this one. Like, I know probably supposed to be on the Bengals. The model is right. Like 2.5, that's a good number for the Bengals. I mean, Hard Rock's already moved it 2. So clearly the professionals are going to back this Bengals side. But I don't know. I can't quit this Ravens team. But I told you, there's a lot of off-field drama stuff that's leaking out in the public right now, this Ravens team. It's just all bad in the locker room. It's just, there's so many teams right now that I just can't imagine how horrible the locker room vibes are. And this is one of them with this Ravens team. So I know, Chad. We both want to be on the Ravens. There probably should be a tell of us. We should probably be on the Bengals, and this probably is a good value number.
I know. I don't know why. It's almost like, look, I had the same feelings last week with the Bengals and the Bills. I wanted to be on the Bengals. I loved the Bengals in that spot, but it felt like such a public dog. And this also was going to feel like such a public dog. And that's honestly the only thing that's keeping me from doing it. It just feels too popular to bet the Bengals. And I don't want to be popular at all.
It's okay. Sometimes, again, we won on the biggest chalk bet of the week last week was the Rams, and we nailed it. So
nailed it.
It does hit.
Cleveland and Chicago. Chicago is a 7.5-point favorite at home against the Cleveland Browns. This Bears defense, if it cannot get a turnover, it cannot get a stop. Geno Smith, J.J. McCarthy, Spencer Rattler, Jordan Love. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is, how good they are, or how bad they are. They all find ways to move the ball against the Chicago Bears. And in all of those games, turnovers were the difference. The only difference is that the Packers didn't have any at the end of the game, and they won. The other teams, which were bad, all did, and that's how the Bears were able to eke out victories. So if they cannot stop anybody, and Shedeur Sanders is playing with more and more confidence, do we ever go against type and bet on this Browns defense as a big underdog when everybody still wants to be backing the Bears? Because I will tell you, it does feel to me like the Bears stock has actually risen after their loss in terms of public perception. to the Packers because they played so well against a good team. And if not for bad timing, play calling, however you want to measure it, they might actually win that game.
Yeah, you're probably right. This probably is the right time to jump off this Bears train, right? You're now at 7.5. Like, that's a crazy high number with a hook. And like you talked about, this Bears defense is suspect, but keep bringing it up, Chad, the cold weather. I mean, Chicago, if the East Coast is going to be in the 20s or 30s, Chicago going to be in the 5s, 10s, 15s? It's going to be freezing at this game. So I kind of might end up backing the Bears just because I see an avenue with them offensively, how they can move, and they've played now. This would be their second week in a row playing in that kind of type of cold where Cleveland, that was in the cold. I mean, Shedeur played really well in it, but you kind of saw with them that was not a little fluky, but it felt a little fluky. With this Bears team, it kind of feels exactly like we know what they are. So it's a great matchup. If you want to be with the professionals, I think they're going to come on the Browns at 7.5. It just feels like a way too big of a number for this Bears team, but I could be persuaded into this Bears side. I hate it. Like, it was 6.5, went to 7, now it's 7.5. And if it's 6.5, I could have been talking to the Bears, but 7.5, I'm probably gonna have to be on the Cleveland, even though I really don't want to.
It's going to be because in my weather app, I have Chicago on there. Even though I don't live there anymore, I always like to know what's going on there. Even though I haven't lived there in 35 years, it's going to be 0.
Right. That's what I mean. There's a big freeze coming. So, like, this is one of the games going to be affected by it. And I don't know. It's like it's tough. It's tough to trust either team. But I feel like the Bears are probably the more trustworthy team in that type of scenario.
Do you have you ever seen the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? Steve Martin, John Candy?
Don't call me Shirley.
So one of my favorite lines in any movie ever is they're trying to get back to Chicago. They've gotten screwed every which way. They're riding in the back of a pickup truck through the plains of Kansas. And John Candy, either Steve Martin or John Candy, I can't remember which one, says to the other, "How cold do you think it is?" And the other one just looks at him and he goes, "1." And I love that line. It's like he could say -85. Just 1 is such a great deadpan line. Just made me think of it when I said it was 0.
The Chicago people are a different breed, Chad.
Totally different breed. So true. John Candy was Canadian, but really, he was a Chicagoan at heart. All right, let's talk about it. Las Vegas Raiders at the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are 11.5-point favorites. The Raiders ending was truly bizarre, and it has lit up the internet. So I did some research for everyone who hasn't paid attention. The Raiders were anywhere from 7.5 to 8.5-point underdogs against the Broncos. They kicked a meaningless field goal with 5 seconds left when they were down 10. Game ends. Broncos win by 7. Everybody who was on the Raiders loses their bets. They're all calling on everyone who bet on the Broncos loses their bets. They're all calling for the NFL to investigate this game. They're saying it was rigged, all of this stuff. This has happened before. It happened 2 years ago. Sean McVay, as a 7.5-point underdog against the Niners in 2023, did the exact same thing. Strategically, I get it. Like, who knows? You kick the field goal, you're down 10. If you even get a second left, you get an onside kick, someone fumbles it, you can run it back. Crazy, crazy things have happened in the NFL. People say they want to investigate the refs. I totally get it. Here's the problem that's going on right now. This is not an integrity problem. These games aren't fixed. If the NFL wanted to fix games, they wouldn't focus on the Broncos and the Raiders. They would make sure that... Why? Because they focus on the Chiefs on Sunday night when they need the Chiefs to win, because the Chiefs and the Cowboys are the two most popular teams who drive the most ratings. It's not the Rams. It's not the Seahawks. It's not the Broncos. Those are the teams they want to see make the playoffs.
You're not good at scamming, Chad. You don't. That's not how scamming works. It's where people aren't looking. That's where they scam. But you missed the most egregious part of this whole thing. The reason people are so pissed off is Broncos could have kicked a field goal. They went for it on fourth down. Okay, they didn't get it. Maybe they were going for a fourth down because they're trying to run out the clock. Sean Payton does weird shit all the time. This whole Raiders part was so weird because they got that. They had no timeouts left. They threw it in the middle of the field. The guy gets tackled. The defender was slow getting off of him or whatever.
Right, and they called a delay a game.
Yes, which people got upset about because that's only been called, say, 3-4 times in the last 5 years, which is a very rare call type of penalty. And like we just said, they sent out the kicker when there's 5 seconds left to kick it because his whole math was, well, if we kick that field goal and we make it, I puts us in position that if we onside kick it, we could recover the onside kick.
That's what I just said.
And return it for a touchdown. That's what Pete Carroll exactly said to defend himself. It's like, okay, I guess that covers all the bases here. But I think that's why people were just so upset. It's like you needed 3 really stupid things to happen at the end of that game to lose that bet, which you were winning for the entire game. So that's why people are upset. And, I told you, that's why I took Denver on the money line. It's like I thought something stupid like that might happen with a backdoor there, but to lose that way, I get why people are so pissed. It's like egregious to all the stupid things that happen, but we say all the time, that's gambling. It's stupid things happen all the time.
It's gambling, and like only gamble what you can lose, and then don't fucking whine about it.
Well,
because this
happens. Fun is whining, but this happens all the
time. Here's my solve, and we've talked about this earlier this year. The speed at which they can do expedited reviews now on so many things. How are they just not having somebody in New York doing an expedited review on every single call? And if it is egregious and it's impactful in some way, why aren't they saying to the refs, yeah, pick up the flag. This was not the penalty you think it was. We saw it in the Chiefs game. There was a penalty that was a phantom pass interference penalty. There was a phantom holding penalty where a guy just fell and they thought it was a hold. Like, we see these things happen all the time. It's so much easier with technology to fix it in the moment. And they're only qualifying it against what they feel are sort of game-changing plays. But a holding call can be a game-changing play. We just saw it last night. A delay of game can be a game-changing play. They should be making these expedited reviews on such a wider menu of calls in the NFL. It would increase the quality of the game. It would eliminate so much of the conversation about how bad the refs are. And with integrity being front of mind for so many people, it is more front of mind than it even was 2 years ago when McVay did this. Like, there needs to
every
be
week,
a
though.
fix.
Like we have this conversation every week, Chad.
So fix it every week.
I know, but I'm saying they're not going to, but that's the issue. It's like they should make it. Coaches can challenge 1 or 2 calls per game. And it's not done through the referee crew on the field. It's done through New York, like you said. So it's not biased to the people you're on the field with. And it's just they need to do something because it's every week I'm getting reached out to by people saying the NFL's fixed. And we both have the same view. It's very stupid. But I like to get on because it is funny where it's like people really do believe it is fixed. And it's like, guys, come on. They don't need to fix these games. Like it's going to be $1 billion business regardless if whoever wins or loses that Denver Raiders game. Like we both joke, no one cares, but
it's like what you said about the red zone the other night. It would be a more enjoyable product. We're all paying for it. We're all going to watch it. It has no fear of fading. It's not going to get worse for the NFL, but why not make it as good as you can be? And you know this is an issue for everybody who's watching at home. It slows the games down. It ruins momentum. It changes the course of these games. Why not just go to the competition committee, expand the menu of calls that can be expedited reviews. And if it's a phantom holding call, if it's a bad pass interference call, if it's a bad delay of game call, then just change it on the spot. Why change the outcome of games off of what are small penalties? And that is happening. It's not just the big turnovers and scores that are the most impactful plays. Anyways, the Eagles are 11.5-point favorites at home against the Raiders. What do you want to fucking do?
I mean, Lane Johnson's back. I'll be over the Eagles, but without him, I'll probably end up on Vegas or pass on this game. So we'll see. I think Lane Johnson will be back, but this is a great spot. It's supposed to be, once again, freezing cold. Geno Smith outdoors. He's already been horrible this year indoors, let alone outdoors against Eagles. As much crap you want to give them, they do have a really good defensive line. They can get after quarterbacks. So we've seen that Phillips kid they got from Miami. He's been great for them, and I think this is a good matchup for him. So yeah, it's a huge number. Public will be all over Vegas. I mean, everyone, just like the Chiefs, there's no one out there betting this Eagles team. So I'll be patient.
It has moved down.
Yeah, just be patient. It could get under 10.
Philly has moved from 12.5 to 11.5. Yeah, if you're gonna talk about buying at the low, I mean, everyone watched that game. So
I don't even think it's
definitely,
rock bottom. Like I said, I think they could lose this game. They are just, it is so bad. Like that plane ride, I can't even imagine how horrible that plane ride was. And it's a short week. Like it's just, everything is just so negative for this Eagles team, but they should smoke this Vegas team. Just defensively, I just don't see how Geno can move the ball. So really, really couldn't have asked if you're an Eagles fan or that team to have a better team to play against here at home.
Washington Commanders at the New York Giants. The Giants are 2-point favorites. I don't think any team has been more unlucky than the Giants this year. You mentioned Dr. Nick Giffen from Action, our buddy Nick, who does the luck rankings. And last week, his luck rankings, the two games that were sort of graded A were the Commanders as underdogs against the Broncos and the Giants as underdogs against the Patriots. It worked out with the Commanders. It didn't work out with the Giants because their luck continued into the first half until they made it a game. Washington, Jaden Daniels is expected to play. So
that's crazy.
It's crazy, but he is. They held him out for precaution because he was questionable to return. You know, talk about buy low, sell high. Similar to the Cardinals here, like it's not going to get lower for the Commanders, losing 31-0 to a quarterback that basically everybody was putting on the scrap heap and saying was this generation's Jamarcus Russell and J.J. McCarthy. So Commanders +2. I feel like that's the play.
Yeah, again, we're sitting here Tuesday. I'll probably bet the Commanders, but I don't even want to be involved in this game, for being totally honest. I'll make this pick for a pick pools, but putting actual money on either side of this, there's so many good games this week. I will totally happily not have this on any TV.
Good. I'm glad we don't have to talk about it. I definitely don't want to put it in the multi-view. Detroit is visiting Los Angeles Rams. Rams are 5.5-point favorites. Look, the Lions dominated the Cowboys. That's the good news, right? In that game, they lost Brian Branch for the year. They were already without Terry and Arnold, who hasn't even been the corner they need him to be, but he was the best they had, and now he's out. Thomas Harper, another guy in the defensive backfield who's been starting, may miss the game because of a concussion. They may get Kirby Joseph back. He's questionable. He's been out for a while with an injury. They beat the Cowboys with a lot of zone against the Cowboys. The Cowboys have not played a lot of zone. I mean, they played a lot of zone against the Cowboys. They haven't played a lot of zone this year. It doesn't matter against Stafford. He's great against zone. He's great against man. They've got a dominant rushing game. The success rate for this team's rushing game is as good as any team in the last 6 years when it was 2018 and it was the Los Angeles Rams who went to the Super Bowl. They're playing awesome right now.
Yeah, and it just doesn't feel like the type of spot they have a letdown or play bad, right? This is a huge deal. This is Matthew Stafford's former team, and same on the opposite for Jared Goff. This is his former team as well. So it doesn't get much better than this. This is probably the best game of the week. Just two teams, both desperately need this game for playoff seeding. And, you know, I talked a little bit about Sunday night. I love the Rams. Like, I love them at 4.5. They're 5 actually still at Hard Rock here in Jersey. Every other book is 5.5. I'm seeing a couple 6 pop. So wanted to make this, Simon Says, but don't want to mush it because I am going to bet this heavily. And Simon Says has just been toxic. So I am really, really happy that this number is still under 6. I really love this Rams team for just a bunch of different matchups. The biggest one you just talked about, the injuries to the secondary of this team. The Lions, they can try to run the zone because they're going to have so many backups in there. He's just going to eat you alive, Stafford, especially the way Puka's playing right now. And, you know, we've talked about Devontae Adams. He is – my favorite thing about Devontae Adams is he's at an old man level where I feel like Stafford tells him, hey, this time run really hard route, like I'm actually going to go to. And they pick their spots where, especially in the red zone, it just like feels like if you see certain plays, you can see where Puka's going really hard off the line as if Puka knows it's coming his way. On the flip side, Devontae Adams just basically rubs the guy at the line, doesn't even move because he's like, I'm not wasting energy here. And it's just totally in sync. I just love watching this Rams team so much. Everything is just clicking. So, yeah, it's a big number. I assume the public will come in on this Lions team, especially if it touches 6. So, like you said, they had that huge win, right? And now they're on 10 days rest. So I get it. Stafford, especially, I'm sure the trends will back it up. Stafford is a dog indoors, and I should say Goff is a dog indoors. Tends to be a really good spot to take him. But we've talked about those numbers. It feels like it's the Detroit of the past. And this is a banged up Detroit offensive line that's struggled against good defensive lines, which the Rams have. And we've seen it. Their secondary is just too many injuries. So I know it pains me, Lions fans, but this just feels like a really bad spot to go against this juggernaut of a Rams team.
I feel like you're expressing, I've heard this many times during our years together, a quiet confidence on the Rams.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Again, I don't want to mush it, what Simon says, but I feel like this is a very nice number and a nice spot. So, like I said, Hard Rock, it's still 5 here in Jersey. Shop around, people. You might be able to still get a 5. We can hear this, but I just see this getting to 6 by the time most people hear this, unfortunately.
I am going to unload on the Rams.
I don't know about that.
Betting it all.
Yeah.
On the Los Angeles Rams. Carolina at New Orleans. Look, I know we wanted this one to get to 3. We want to bet the Saints at +3, and we hate betting against the Panthers when they're in the hunt for the division. Our beloved Panthers. I'd really like to bet New Orleans here. I just want it to be at a number that makes me a little bit happier.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm impatient. I can't wait. Simon says, give me the Saints +2.5.
I want to play a game. Simon says.
Like Chad said, there are some 3s popping up every now and then, but they keep getting hit back down at 2.5. So I want to get the Saints now at 2.5 just in case the pros do come in and hit this down. But this is going to be the biggest split game. The public will be all over this Carolina team, especially the fact that last time they saw them, they upset the Rams and they had a bye week. So,
yeah.
As much as, I want to say, I thought the public would love this Saints team because they had a huge win against the Bucs. Feels like everyone's kind of in the same boat, right? It's like that's more about something being wrong with the Bucs than the Saints winning there, where it's like, once again, they're overlooking this Saints team. They play really tough. And just looking at these teams' previous matchups going back these last couple of years, while the Saints have been bad, they've kind of owned this Panthers team. It's been shocking. So this year, they beat them 17-7, which we remember because we bet on it. And, this exact next scenario, the last time they played, the Panthers did beat them 23-22 last year. And then before that, they had lost 4 straight. They lost to the Saints 47-10, 28-6, and then 20-17. So it's like the Saints have kind of owned this matchup and this Panthers team usually in this matchup. So I don't know if the public's really looking to that historical facts where we talk. Even last week it happened, right? All those divisional matchups, the trends went out. Like these teams, and when you get in these divisional games, for some reason they just match up well against certain matchups. And we've seen it, the Saints team, they do match up well against this Panthers team. They give them problems up front where, as old as Cam Jordan is, he gives pressure up the middle, which we've seen with Bryce Young, get him off his spot. That's just not great for him. So I love this number. I wish I could say my model had this at a great number like I did last week with that Jags team where I was like, oh, it's 4 points off. Sadly, the model literally has it set 2. So it's not that big of a margin. It's really about me loving this spot for the Saints team, the fact they play so well against a Panthers team that tends to let down after big wins. We've seen it multiple times this year. They've had letdown spots after big wins. So we'll see how they perform. It's a rare opportunity. Bryce Young, as a favorite in his career, I believe has 1 win.
Simon, I had to spend all day yesterday researching Bryce Young as a road favorite.
Has it happened before?
No.
It's never happened before.
No.
I was trying to think of it. I was like, has it happened before?
When could it have happened?
Right.
It's an impossible. It doesn't exist.
Not only is he a road favorite for the first time in his career, he's getting 87% of the bets and 80% of the money right now.
I mean, it's that. I just want to, like Simon says,
that's incredible. Thank you for looking that up, Chad. Yeah.
Simon says presented by Hard Rock Bet. It's going to be the New Orleans Saints +2.5. It's going to be hard to avoid this one in the contest. Not that we want to, telegraph it, but we're both going to be on the Saints here. The number's probably going to be 2.5 in the contest, so that's what we're going to be betting.
Even 1.5, I'd still take it. Even though, again, that's under my model's number, I still think this number should be a pick, right? It's like the Saints just are not as bad as people perceive, and as much praise we're giving to Carolina, they're an up and down team. That's just who they are this year.
Yeah, I'm with you. Will you be with me on this next game? Green Bay at Denver. Denver is a 2-point home underdog. It's been bouncing 1.5 and 2.5. Every time it gets to 2.5, somebody buys the Broncos, and every time it gets to 1.5, somebody's buying the Packers, and that's what we're seeing in the splits. I'm going to make this one Chad's choice, and I am taking the Green Bay Packers. You look at the numbers, we talked about this on Sunday, it's really hard to find the weakness in this team. Even though it doesn't feel like they've been the dominant talked about team, right? Everyone in the NFC, they've been talking about the Rams, they've been talking about the Seahawks, and the Packers, like, all of a sudden, they're 9-3-1. They're atop the NFC North. Their defense is so fast and playing lights out. Jordan Love is incredible under pressure, which is what the Broncos are going to bring, even if they're only bringing 4 or 5 guys. They're not going to be a blitz-heavy team. That's not their scheme. Their receivers on the Packers side are getting healthier. There's just opportunities here for the Packers to steal this game. I don't think any of us trust Bo Nix. And while we like Bo Nix as an underdog, I think I just like this Packers team, and I think they're starting to roll and finally getting healthy at the exact right time. So we got to go with the Packers. Chad's choice, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Yeah, I'm with you. Love the Packers here. Love the match with them. And another game I thought would be affected by the cold, but it seems like that cold air is just staying just to the east. So just Chicago and then heads east of the Mississippi. And this game will probably be in the 50s, 40s for kickoff. So neither team really going to be affected that much by the cold. But just look at this matchup. Yeah, the Green Bay team, to me, they're the team that have been there before, a more complete team. You expect them in this moment to kind of live up to that moment. And the fact that it is under 3 feels like it's the right number for the Packers, right? Like how many times have this game played as the Packers going to win this game by a field goal? Feels like it's going to be way more times than this Broncos team's going to cover as a dog here. So I'm interested to see where this line goes. Like I talked a little bit about it Sunday night. I thought maybe it could flip. And you did see some 1.5 start popping up on this Broncos side. But like Chad talked about, it's all 2s now, all up to 2.5, so a lot of books as well. So if you do like the Packers like we do, I would definitely get in now and grab the 2 before it moves to 2.5, because I just see this being 2.5, 3 by close for most books. It's just the Packers, to me, professionals will bet them, the public will. They just feel like that's the more trusted side. And even though, the Broncos 11-2, they've been great this year, they haven't really been tested. They have not really been tested. So this is a great test for them against a team that it feels like we've talked about this Green Bay team, LaFleur, in December. They seem like they always turn around like McVay teams do and get better as they go along here. So we'll trust the better team, I suppose, in Green Bay and take the number under a field goal.
Better team, equal defense, equal coaching, better quarterback. At the end of the day, we're fading Bo Nix on this one. Tennessee at San Francisco. San Francisco is a 12.5-point favorite. The Titans have covered 3 of their last 4 games. Since interim coach Mike McCoy took over, they have had bursts of competitiveness. I'm not going to say whole games, but definitely bursts. But Simon, I'm going to refer to Sunday's show in case people did not hear it or watch it. Matt, please roll the clip.
Chad, what the hell? If you're so lucky this is the holiday season, I'm so mad at you. Your job is not to let me bet these damn Titan games. And every week
we tried to talk ourselves out of it this morning.
I'm begging you, stop me from putting this in. You have the power now. You're putting the picks in, and you let me put it in. It's ridiculous. I told you, I cannot get a read.
We can't get a read.
Whatever I say, the opposite will happen.
Is there anything else to say about this game?
I think I just looked so much younger with the no stress of 4 interceptions by Jalen Hurts in that moment, even in my rage. Yeah, if the people want to keep fading me, I like the 49ers here. Like you're fading. We get to fade Tennessee off a road win, now on the road again against a well-rested 49ers team. This number should be like 14. It's 12.5 at a lot of books. I think it's going to keep going up. So, yeah, I like the Niners here. I think they absolutely roll this Tennessee team. But once again, I am not putting any money on it. I am wrong on every time with this game. And if you have been following the trend, hammer Tennessee.
Indy at Seattle. Seattle's a 13.5-point favorite. Lines moved up from 12.5. This is the bury the Colts in sports media week. Everyone from ESPN to the Wall Street Journal writing about how the Colts are done, how this was the season they went all in. They traded the future for Sauce Gardner. Now he's out. They thought they had Daniel Jones as their quarterback of the future. Now he's going to be repairing an Achilles. They don't even know who their quarterback is going to be when they start next year. This week, they've got to go with Riley Leonard because they had the freak accident with Anthony Richardson on the sideline before a game. Listen, all the tickets coming in on Seattle here. I said this one is moved. Do we take a taste? I'm not saying it's a contest play one way or the other, but do we take a taste of the Colts?
No, I'm not. You try to get me the other time. Was that the Vikings in this exact scenario? It's not even Riley Leonard. I think it might be the other backup now. And I mean, I could spend 10 minutes going to Tandem about Phillip Rivers and all these people in media.
Grandpa Rivers.
All these people in sports media who act like they care about player safety and CTE and all this other bullshit for all these years. I hated it because it's so phony and fake. And you saw it this week. Those same people, oh, wouldn't it be great if Phillip Rivers came back? A 44-year-old grandfather should come back and play the most violent sport. Like, I cannot believe people want Phillip Rivers coming back. Another part, too. People talking about Phillip Rivers as he's a Hall of Famer. When did that happen? When did Phillip Rivers become a Hall of Famer? Guy with 0 playoff success. It's very bizarre times we're living in. I might have too much hate in my heart. As soon as I saw people want Phillip Rivers back, it's like, you should all be in jail. This man could die entering a field of play at 44 years old. And I saw some report. Yeah, he's still slinging it, looks healthy. I have no doubt he could come back and play a game. Like, we've seen it with Flacco as an old man. It can happen. Like, these guys are gunslingers. They're smart. They know how to read defenses. But to think he can play 2 or 3 games and survive, I think that is criminal to put a man like that in this
It's
position.
never the arm that is the
body.
issue. It's the body. It's the legs. It's the knees. It's the head. Guys who have the arm talent, like Phillip Rivers, Dan Marino, John Elway, Tom Brady, they could throw it till they're 80.
Yeah.
That's not the problem.
It's just, so I get it. They worked him out and they're trying to get him to come back. But when I saw people in the media, I'm like, man, this is like criminal. You guys are like, it's like marching a man to his death and celebrating it. I just did not like the fact that he's going to come back. But, as a kid, yeah, that makes me excited. Phillip Rivers is coming back. That's great. But for this number, if it's Phillip Rivers, sure, Chad, I wouldn't mind taking a piece. But if it's not Riley Leonard and it's the other backup or some other rookie or some guy they just picked up off the street, you can't make me take it. Seattle's defense, we've seen it time and time again. They will destroy a lackluster quarterback performance. So their only hope, I mean, it is terrible. It is Phillip Rivers or Joe Flacco gets released by the Bengals. Other than that, it's just grim if you're this Colts fan.
I feel like we might be seeing Seattle, San Francisco, maybe Jacksonville in the money line parlay at reduced spreads come Thursday.
Again, it'd be epic if we'd sit here and be like, one of them is going to lose. It's not hitting like I used to. I mean, just getting a cover now from these big dogs, that's the win.
Yeah, does feel that way, right? All right, let's focus on some primetime games. We're going to watch these island games. We know we're going to bet these island games. Minnesota at Dallas. Dallas is 6-point favorite. It's come down a little bit from 6.5. Minnesota went from being is the first team to ever go from being shut out to winning by a shutout at significant margin as they did. I have no read on this game.
No, I like Minnesota. It's simply because I think their defense will be able to get stops, and offensively, I think KFC better design stuff up that they'll be able to move the ball against this Cowboys defense that, yeah, they played better of late, but they're still suspect in many aspects of their team. So Hard Rock here in Jersey is actually 5.5, and I'm looking. There's still 2 books with 6.5. So if you can, when you take the Vikings and get the 6.5 or the 6, I think it's going to be out there. But I do see the professionals coming in on this Viking side and this getting bumped down. So despite all the money, all the tickets, early money is on the Cowboys team. It moved from 6.5 to 6. So we know that's where the pros are going to be. So, and I think they're going to keep coming on. Like I said on Sunday, I think 6 is a good number for Minnesota, but I get why you're hesitant. Betting JJ McCarthy on the road after a huge win, it just does not appeal.
That's the problem.
So I get your hesitation. I'm there with you.
But Miami at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is now a 3-point favorite, minus 120 at Hard Rock, 3.5 everywhere else. And since we stupidly walked away from Mike Tomlin and the rah-rah trends last week, I do want to bring up that Mike Tomlin in his career as a 3+ home favorite, 51% against the spread. But since 2018, when we entered into the Duck Hodges, we don't know who's going to be quarterback, and a Ben Roethlisberger era, he's well below 500 against the spread as a 3+ point favorite at home.
Football's our game. Our business is winning.
Now we're getting all the news this week, other than Daniel Jones and the Colts and how tragic, is how brilliantly Mike McDaniel has saved his job. And since we have to buy high on both teams right now, I'm more inclined to sell Tomlin and buy the Dolphins for one reason. The Dolphins running game. Devon Achane has just been brilliant this year. And before he left the Jets game with a rib injury, he will be playing this week, by the way. 92 yards on 7 carries. That's the difference for this team. And I know it's going to be, Arctic blasts. But Arctic blasts for the Dolphins used to mean they couldn't do anything because it was in Tua's hands. Now it's not going to be in Tua's hands. So I'm less uncomfortable with a team that focuses on an explosive run game against a defense in the Steelers that has been terrible at giving up explosive runs.
Yeah, everything you said is so true. I immediately wanted to be on Miami at 3.5, but the freeze has scared me off because we've just talked about how horrible Tua's record is and everything like that is. But maybe the cheat code is Tua's done nothing these last 3-4 weeks and they keep winning because they have such a dominant run game. So maybe I'm overthinking it here. Miami probably is the right side. The 3, though, is very tempting. I mean, Hard Rock already moved back to 3.5, so someone clearly came and hit that right away once they moved it. And I'm tempted, not going to lie, tempted to take Pittsburgh, the -3. But you're everything you're saying is so true. It's Miami 3.5, and we know Tomlin's record whenever he's a big favorite like this, especially after that emotional of a win on the road against the Ravens, a divisional foe. It's easy to see them having a letdown here, but it's that those trends, Chad, they're going to scare me off, man. That Miami in the freezing cold, it's so bad, especially when they're playing against what this team is right now, Pittsburgh, a divisional team. So we've seen it there. It's the double negative. It's a Tua playing against a team on the road above 500, Tua playing against a team that's in the freezing cold. So I'll have a stronger opinion come Thursday on this one, but said here right now, I am leaning towards this Pittsburgh side.
Interesting.
Stuff.
All right. Well, listen, we got a lot to review, and there's a lot to unpack still because lines are still going to be moving, and we're going to get roster information. But Kansas City -4 is a debate. New England Buffalo is a debate. Arizona, will it move? Will we start feeling all of a sudden like we have no choice?
I think we have like 3 or 4 games we legit really like. So
I think we definitely like the
pretty
Rams.
good start to the week, honestly.
Yes.
Usually we hate a lot of games today.
Normally, but I circled on my list games that I know we like: Rams, New Orleans, Green Bay. Yeah. Are those the same 3 that you have circled?
I don't have anything circled, but I do like those.
But those are the ones we agree on.
Yeah, I'm just saying I don't write anything like you do. That's what I love about you, though, man. You're old
Take
school.
Notes.
Yeah,
take notes. I got a whole notebook. Fill in it. I get a new one each year. Just fill it up with Sharper Square stuff. All right. This has been Sharper Square, part of the Volume Podcast Network. We will be back on Thursday with the games we are zeroing in on. We'll talk about our head-to-head. We'll talk about our brass ball, so much more. Watch or listen on YouTube at Sharper Square. Like this video, subscribe to the page while you're at it. Download us from Spotify, Apple Pods, wherever you get your pods. Rate, review, subscribe. Leave us 5 stars. Say whatever you want. Feedback is a gift. Until next time, love you.
Together we can do it. Nobody can do it alone, but together we can do it. Let's play our kind of football, and we'll come out of it with a win. Let's go.